All right, gentlemen, ladies, we have an excited good news because I have been doing types of content, sorry, for quite some time. Because if you notice, as probably 2 days ago, if you're living in the Hollywood news and some outlets, that Kathy Kennedy, CEO of Lucasfilm, is officially leaving the company immediately. And you know what that means? We freaking won! Woo! Yeah! I can't believe this. Kathy Kennedy is officially long gone for Lucasfilm for good. I can't believe this. It's like, wow, that this girl lady is officially leaving the company because after the bad decisions about destroying franchise like Star Wars and Indiana Jones and all that crap, because I believe this. That that someone media excited is destroyed these franchise and now poof, he's long gone. That because Kathy Kennedy is officially destroyer of Lucasfilm, especially including franchises like Star Wars and Indiana Jones and other crap. So yeah, it's officially gone. It's over. No more crap. No more bad decisions. No more promise about that because Lucas because Kevin Kennedy is now leaving for Lucasfilm immediately because it's over now. Woo! Yeah. But yeah, I think that this is maybe the end of a chapter of Mr. Kennedy tenure at Lucasfilm. But if you focus on the better back to producer things, other production companies, so I will talk about later. So yeah, but if you don't know what Kathy Kennedy is, if you're familiar for that filmography or want to know what it is, but or many people hate about their as a person. So Kathy Kennedy is a film producer who been for quite some time for the decades. He's began working with Steven Spielberg, and he led to the co-founding with future husband Frank Marshall, with known as Amblin Entertainment. As the first film was producing the was as Kathy Kennedy as a producer was the E.T. the Extraterrestrial was pretty much the box office hit, as well as the later films for or Spielberg's other film. He also produced, and she's also producing the Spielberg movies. But after that, including Color Purple, um, Empire of the Sun, California, but because her husband Frank Marshall was director. So yeah. Anyway, and Hook, Jurassic, and the first as well as the first Jurassic World movie, as was the executive producer with including the films from the Schindler's List. So yeah, as well as also the executive producers of non Spielberg directed films from the production company Amber Entertainment, including Gremlins, The Goonies, Back to the Future, and the sequels. Young Sherlock Holmes, The American Tale, Barry, Who Framed Roger Rabbit, uh, and um, and as well as Cape Fear and a lot of others. And the Flintstones, this infamous movie that people care about that, and the We're Back at Dinosaur Story was an infamous animated film that in fact Nostalgia Critic already reviewed that many years ago. Now that anyway, so yeah, and as well, and although he continued producing movies for with um, with the Jurassic World franchise, including the executive producer of the second Jurassic World movie, The Lost World, and of course the full-fledged producer of Jurassic World 3. However, Kennedy and Marshall decided leaving the company immediately because of Apple Entertainment. But however, everything continued relationship with Spielberg in was executive producing and some movies under under new production company, the Kennedy Marshall Company, including some movies including this AI, artificial intelligence, War Wars, Munich, and Warhorse and Lincoln, as well and of course the BFG. was a Disney film that nobody saw because Hugo Becquerel. Oh, and the fourth Indiana Jones movie that Steven Spielberg directed, because it's pretty no petition that I hope that Kathy Kennedy will be serve as the CEO as Lucasfilm. That's marked the first collaboration. So we'll see in the future if but we'll see in the happening in years to come. But however, the production company, the Kennedy Marshall Movies company, was known for working with films, mostly from notable films, including the infamous Milk Money movie that, again, the Star Critic already reviewed years ago. The N. Night Shyamalan's second, breakout film, The Sixth Sense, as well as a continued relationship with N. Night Shyamalan, including um, Signs, and they got off with the last Airbender movie ish. And also he was responsible to producing of Jason Bourne franchise with Universal Pictures, starring Jimmy Kimmel Nesbitt's Matt Damon, I suppose including Sea Biscuit with pretty much the film was this came out a year after Spider-Man came out because Tobey Maguire starred in. Um, and The Curious Case of Benjamin Button was a film from David Fincher. So, um, I also mentioned The Adventures of Tintin that Spielberg directed. So, yeah. So that said, when Kathy Kennedy when left working as the CEO when Lucasfilm would get it done in a minute or so, he continued producing under production company, including the Jurassic World um, franchise, as well as in the Twisters, and of course the recent Jurassic World movie with Scarlett Johansson. And let's be honest, I don't know that Scarlett Johansson was been in a relationship with Universal lately. After he's appeared in the previous two Wes Anderson movies was produced under subsidiary Focus Features. So I would agree that Scarlett would agree to do it join the franchise, and also the joining another franchise into the DC into the Batman universe because why not? And because Matt Reeves didn't wanted to be after seeing his like another NC actor like other like Sebastian Stan. Like, come on, are you serious? Anyway, but also Scarlett will also appear in another Universal produced film. This time it's a horror franchise with The Exorcist, which could be a reboot thing, but the last one didn't work. So this is going to be more reboot. It's directed by Michael Fagney. So I hope it's going to happen. I heard the release date was going to be happen in 2027. So it's going to be 2 years. So yeah. Anyway, so Lucasfilm was been there for quite some time, but Kathy Kennedy was known as film producer who'd been there for quite some time. But as pretty known, after Disney acquired Lucasfilm in 2012, that Kevin Kennedy was become as president of Lucasfilm, and he expand all the franchise and IPs like Star Wars, Indiana Jones, and Willow, and a bunch of others. So we'll bring a new audience in a new generation that's become known as legacy sequel. That's what did the Kevin Kennedy was once preceded the production company, the Kennedy Marshall Company, had already producing Jurassic World movie. That's pretty much there is becoming the sort of the reboot instead of Park the World War. So especially they came out the same year as the Terminator Genesis, or the honest critic would call Terminator Genesis. But I think that the Legacy sequel will work because of the Jurassic World was proved a box office hit. And yeah, so yeah, since the Kennedy regime of Lucasfilm had gone on a more positive note, but in reality, eventually become with the mixed results because these the I probably know the Star Walker saga of Star Wars was pretty much I saw the three films because the first one was proof the masterpiece to start. The second was a mediocre best, and the third and the final one was a letdown. I don't know. The first was the Force Awakens. Second was the Last Jedi, and third was the Rise of Skywalker. So yeah, it's so the off the start. First one was the best, and the last one was let down. So, and because the first and one first and third film was directed by J.J. Abrams, or or many people are as we call Jar Jar Abrams, and the second film was led by the destroyer of the franchise, that none other than Ryan Johnson. Yes, the guy who made the more like indie films more back to then, like Looper, and eventually to and then after that, after the Star Wars disaster debacle, it made Nice Out movie, and it later to production company D Street with in collaboration with NRC. So yeah, but the reason because and it's just for media rights capital, but yeah. Anyway, that's pretty much the first film was approved as a sequel, but the second and the third film was not so much. But even the spin-off films like Rogue One, a Star Wars story, was forgone a lot of production problems, and the same goes with the Solo, a Star Wars story. With in fact, it originally went handled by Laura Miller, but it dropped out and replaced by Ron Howard because Ron Howard has been working for Lucasfilm sometime since, notable in the for a Rolo movie, but the latter was a box office failure, and it's saying yes because of production problems. But I think that between this, many people becoming known as the many woke culture and mostly grifters, that people didn't care about Kathy Kennedy is a he was become an idiot person because he didn't like Kathy Kennedy's regime of Lucasfilm, mostly a bad decisions. I would say these are two reasons. Number one, Kathy Kennedy killed Carrie Fisher's career because in the wake of that, because that production between Rogue One and the next Last Jedi, that Carrie Fisher was passed away before the Rogue One release, especially the Last Jedi. But eventually, making archive footage of the rise of Star Walker, and it's a big mess. And it got even worse. There's the three things, and the second thing is the reason that Lucasfilm fired Gina Carano over the season 2 and 3 between that of the Mandalorian was a series on Disney Plus. So because it's an because of bad decisions, because I will not touch that. So replaced by some fellow bodybuilder turned actress who familiar with is Katie O'Brien, who been there for quite some time. He began working as a martial arts. Then later he was a police officer, but now he moved to Los Angeles. But now he been on a TV series for quite some times before, like he been a pre The Mandalorian, mostly from the Walking Dead, Black Lightning, and Agent of Shield was a part of the MCU universe thing, and Westworld was a final was it's a TV addition of that on HBO, and leads us to and the rookie was appear on the one episode as Katie because Kate that's a fort, and leads us to recurring role in the Mandalorian season 2 and 3 as Ella King. So it's pretty much then, unlike Gina Carano, that girl was becoming successful, and he had a film career. He began as a supporting role as TV host, and in the Jason Momoa Netflix film Sweet Girl, and then eventually to the break not so breakthrough role in the Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania was a worst MCU movie that people didn't care. And they continue on with the 2024 release in the Love Lies Bleeding was a A24 film opposite Kristen Stewart because let's be honest, it was a lesbian film because who cares? That's not even Black Swan was a lesbian. Anyway, and then the supporting role in Twisters alongside Daisy Edgar Jones and Gwen Power was appear in another movie. Well, later on. Oh, and pre Superman David Korsberg appeared as a supporting role too. So there's that. Anyway, but yeah, Oma mentioned that Candy and Marshall Company produced, along with Amblin Entertainment, produced the film. So I Twister. So yeah, but then and I was supposedly in mostly supporting roles in mostly films like Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning, Queens of the Dead was a film that's ongoing of the Dead franchise. That's people in care. Um, the Running Man was a Edgar Wright movie that nobody saw. The reunite with the co-star for Twisters, Graham Power, and Christie was a forgotten Sydney Sweeney movie that nobody saw because of people reasons that Sydney Sweeney was become an idiot now. So yeah, but mostly from led by Trump ish. So yeah, I think that's a Key O'Brien is a nutshell. But I think but I bring him back to Gina Carano in a second. I know it's becoming the most untalented actress back in the day. But eventually, he filed a lawsuit for Lucasfilm and Disney, but eventually he settled a lawsuit. So, yeah, I think he will return for the acting roots, mostly in the smaller scale projects. So, yeah. And it got even worse that the fourth Indiana Jones movie was probably under the part of the Disney's 100th anniversary, was pretty much disaster. And same goes with the celebration Sensible thing. But except the two good projects, Guardians in the Galaxy Volume 3 and Bobby, of course, both the one for Disney and UNMC for Marvel Studios, MCU, of course, and the other was for Warner Brothers. So yeah, the 2023 was a mixed bag, even per 100 anniversaries. But yeah, it's like I'm not sure that the studio have a lost ton of money, but yeah. But yeah, even the problems with James Mangold, hot off of success of the final resting of the Logan movie. That's Hugh Jackman's final performance as the Wolverine, but as was a couple of films, including like the months 1930 69 66 sorry nice, but I'm not to say this the James Mangold's problem when he killed literally done working for Disney. After that he worked for Paramount for the next movie we teamed with Tiffany Chalamet, but he on the last movie, The Complete Unknown, is a film that because in Tiffany Chalamet was probably gonna won an Oscar, but I think there's some award season. But this year was award season why multi-discipline was gonna be better. But I digress because that movie because then James Mondo gave up working for Disney immediately and would start working at Paramount Pictures and let us the first look deal. So yeah, so sad that Bob Iger are not happy working relationship with James Mangold since Disney acquired 20th Century Fox, now 20th Century Studios, has pretty much been expanded kinds of the projects for Disney, but it's a first shot he will now working at Paramount. That's now after the Paramount Skydance merger. Sounds familiar? I think so. Anyway, yeah, it's probably gonna become a relationship with David Edison. Was basically the David Zaslav 2.0, which could be Paramount to create it, but I not would touch that anyway. So yeah, this is a bad decision for Kathy Katie and especially Lucasfilm and Disney. Was mostly films for more like it's like produce a few TV shows like The Mandalorian, the Book of Boba Fett, Obi-Wan Kenobi, Anadorn, and Alderoska, and the Outlookette and Scheduled Crew was probably releasing on Disney. All the releasing shows on Disney Plus, mostly from Star Wars related, and Willow too was probably canceled. But after before the Val Kilmer passed away at the start of the movie, so rest in peace. Anyway, and yeah, pretty also they came out the same year as Talca Medrick, who so happened to support a role because he had problems with her problems. So yeah, that said, you also mostly releasing movies after that, even to be executive producer, so retain the executive producer, but even in producing films. But yeah, it's so sad that Kennedy was long gone as Lucasfilm is after the problems, that bad decisions, and people fired this actor and actress. So yeah, it is so sad. But and in fact, DC Weekly become the well-known star, mostly for a few mediocre films. But no, the one film was releasing on Disney was appearing in the Disney Plus produced film Young Woman in Sea. But originally getting a theatrical release but unfortunately Disney after getting a positive test screenings, you decided to dump on Disney Plus. Although it retained of the limited release here in America. So yeah, it received good reviews. I mean, Daisy Ridley will become the most good actor. So I think that with best performance, and I think outside is Star Wars work. So yeah. So yeah, in conclusion, Cafe Katie is long gone. Is officially leaving and replaced by Dave Filoni, who's the director of the Mandalorian series and stuff, all that stuff, and along with who co-president Lewin Brandon. But I think the Cafe Katie will move back to producing under the production company again, under the Kennedy Marshall Company. But it continue retain he is still producing of the upcoming Jurassic World reboot thing with after Jurassic World Dominion Rebirth. Sorry, because I think because Gareth Edwards, who was pretty much working with Cafe Katie at back when he was a CEO at Lucasfilm, so yeah, it's pretty much the part note. And people didn't like mostly grifters and wokesters and all kind of stuff. YouTubers, mostly Star Wars fans didn't like Kathy Kennedy as a person because it's pretty much the more problems about the films and TV shows and all that stuff that have a lot of prop bad decisions. It's like the we're like since ever since the bad decisions since Michael Eisner days, the era because he haven't got good and bad decisions. That's like the good things. Like say first Pirates of the Caribbean movie was pretty much proof this hit, but because if it might be the end of Disney, it's like he might be the end of an era. But unfortunately, but Pirates of the Caribbean movie did well in the box office. It's because of Johnny Depp performance as Jack Sparrow. So yeah, that's what you know. It saved Disney because of the live action property. So they remain for this day. It's pretty much known. But unfortunately, that's pretty the same thing with but eventually left because of bad decisions. But however, Kathy Katie was going to be let go for Lucasfilm, and like I said, he get back to producing um, producing thing producer as a production company, the Kennedy Marshall Company. So the reason because I've known he been who knew know the creator who worked for the great filmmakers and mostly quite some time. Kennedy was working for Steven Spielberg, David Fincher, M. Night Shyamalan, and Paul Greengrass or something. But yeah, that's when you know. So yeah, I think is marked the end of the era of Mrs. Kennedy. He wanted to back to the roots, but it maintained still remain as a producers of the upcoming Star Wars movies, but because of release between 2026 and 2027 beyond, including the Mandalorian and Groot, was it's like a spinoff of the scene stealing character from the Mandalorian was led by Baby Groot. So yep, it stars alongside Simura Weaver. So it's also appeared in the recent in Avatar movie. So as well as the Sean Levy Star Wars movie entitled Star Wars Starfire, starring Ryan Gosling. So I hope it's going to be the future bright of Star Wars and the Lucasfilm. It's going to be better, but I hope to see what happens in future for Disney and Lucasfilm. So, but Dave and the Lorraine will gonna be gonna save Star Wars and Lucasfilm for good under Disney. Who knows? Maybe see. But for me, I hope to see what happens in the future. But I hope Kennedy will remain. I find him chance to produce of the upcoming Jurassic World reboot under Jurassic World Reboot saga. I think, but we will see in I think 2027. So this came out the same year as the Exorcist. Where reboot with Mike Flanagan, but this is what did with 2025 with the new Wes Anderson movie and supposedly new Jurassic World movie, with both stars Scarlett Johansson under Universal. So we'll see what happens in the future. So yeah, I hope to see what happens in the future for Lucasfilm, Dave, and Lewin. What happened to be say the biggest brands? These two films I mentioned was shot under the Kennedy regime. So we'll see what happens. Yeah, yeah, I'm excited for that. So I hope to see what happens. So many all the worksters, grifters, and all that stuff. More thing calling the fandom methods, if you call that, needs to count down. So yeah, everyone's happy now. So yeah, that was a long video. So let me know what you think. I hope the future bright of Lucasfilm and Disney, and especially Star Wars franchise, will be happening. And let me know what you think. Do you agree that Dave and Llewyn will be saved. Lucasfilm with the big, massive changes of that, especially the recent upcoming Star Wars movies when they're on the way. And do you think that Kathleen Kennedy has become the most least media excited film producer of all time ever since Michael Eisner? I don't know. Let me know in the comments. So yeah, I haven't much to say. So I hope see what's going on next. Dave and Lewin, what's going what happened next in the future, bright at Lucasfilm. So yeah, we won, bitches! Woohoo!